Islamic scholars' ideas regarding the importance of the signs leading to faith. One important source showing us the importance of the signs leading to faith and how they should be interpreted is the works of the great Islamic scholars, both past and present. These guides, who lived in complete harmony with the Quran and the Sunnah, attached great importance to the investigation of the signs leading to faith and to reflection upon them, and always emphasized these signs in their works. Imam Ghazali is a most valuable Islamic scholar from Khurasan. He lived in the second half of the 11th century and the early part of the 12th. He is regarded as the Mujaddid of his day. A Mujaddid is a great scholar described in the hadiths of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and sent to describe religious truths at the beginning of every century. In his lectures and conversation, this blessed individual devoted wide space to the signs leading to faith. Some instances of signs leading to faith in his works are as follows. Man who is created from a drop of water is one of Allah's signs. Think of your previous state and what you have become. If jinn and human beings had come together, could they have created an eye, an ear, or power, science, or soul, or wisdom from a drop of water? Could they have created bones, veins, nerves, skin, or hair? Look at what Allah has bestowed and His grandeur, that glorious power and His purpose, and how they embrace human beings. It is a wonder that someone who admires a work of art thinks about the artist's talents and expresses his glorious artistry and skills. However, they do not think of Allah's artistry and purpose when they look at this magnificent universe and what has been created. In the sky there are many stars hundreds of times larger than the earth. They look like a single dot, for they are so far away. This fact reveals the greatness of the heavens. Despite their haughtiness, all of these stars are seen as very small in your eyes. To this very reason, you can grasp the mightiness and sovereignty of the one who creates them all. Abu Hanifa, an absolute mujtahid, is one of our most blessed scholars known among the Muslims of his time as the Imam al-Azam, or the Great Imam. He served as Imam to all Muslims and strove throughout his life to preach the moral values of Islam and tell people about Allah's commandments. A dialogue between this great Imam and someone who had no faith in Allah is most instructive. When Abu Hanifa, who lived on the opposite shore of Baghdad, failed to take his place at the hour for debate, various questions arose in the mind of the debater who did not believe in Allah and the crowd. Everyone wondered, why hasn't he come? Will he really not come? Is he afraid? Has he been unable to find any proof? And so on. Imam al-Azam arrived shortly after the appointed time. The debater had been encouraged by this, and his arrogance and pride had grown. Abu Hanifa apologized and began to explain why he was late. I could not find a boat to carry me from the other shore. I began waiting, thinking that perhaps a skiff or a raft would come. At that moment, I saw that the trees suddenly fell over, turned themselves into timber, and the timber became a skiff. And then I saw an oar and a sail create themselves and assume their proper forms. I was delighted that I would no longer have to keep you waiting, and so jumped into the skiff, which then brought me here by itself." The debater and the crowd were unable to understand these words. The debater, who believed that everything was created by nature, said that it was impossible for such an event to take place, which was just what Imam al-Azam had been expecting. Smiling, he replied, "How can you accept that a tiny skiff cannot come into being of its own accord, without a builder and an artist, and yet you still believe that this magnificent universe could have come into being of its own accord, without a maker or a creator? The universe is the work of God, not of itself. There is no need to initiate a debate and dispute when all this is so apparent." Like all other great Islamic scholars, Sayyid Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, who lived during the 11th century, attached great importance to signs leading to faith. In his works, he called on people to reflect on the proofs of Allah's existence. One passage demonstrating the importance he attached to signs leading to faith, from his Al-Fat al-Rabbani, the Sublime Revelation, reads as follows: "Every atom in the universe contains beautiful artistry. Each of these beautiful arts are proofs that demonstrate His existence, and everyone who adheres to them can reach Allah. Think deeply. As your thoughts deepen, you will rise and grow." The great scholar Bediüzzaman Sa'id Nursi, widely regarded as the Mujaddid of the last Hijri century, also discussed the importance of signs leading to faith. In many passages in his Risale-i-Nur collection, each of the branches of knowledge you study constantly speaks of Allah and introduces the Creator in its own language. In the same way that a perfect pharmacy will have marvelous and perfectly measured ointments and drugs in all its jars, so this points to an exceedingly able chemist who works with great wisdom. So in the same way that the pharmacy of earth is so much more perfect and greater than that pharmacy in the market, with all the ointments and drugs in its 400,000 species of plants and animals, so that medical knowledge we partly see shows, even to blind eyes, the majesty of the Almighty, the greatest pharmacist on earth, who works with the greatest wisdom. I at once looked and saw that innumerable birds and flies, which are miniature birds, and innumerable animals, and boundless plants and trees were, like me, reciting through the tongue of disposition, "For us, Allah suffices, and He is the best disposer of affairs." They recall to everyone the immensity and majesty of a power, which before our eyes, particularly in the spring, creates the most abundant plenitude with the greatest ease and on a vast scale, from eggs, seeds, grains, and droplets of fluid, which all resemble each other and whose substance is the same. The hundreds of thousands of species of birds, the hundreds of thousands of sorts of animals, the hundreds of thousands of types of plants, and the hundreds of thousands of varieties of trees, without error, defect, or confusion, in adorned, balanced, well-ordered fashion, and in forms all different from one another, through their being made in this way together, one within the other and resembling each other in the same way. They demonstrate to us His unity and oneness.